Vivekachudamani by Shankaracharya, 411th verse. Samahitantah karnaha swarupe vilokayati atmanam akhanda vaibhavam vichindi bandham bhavagandha gandhitam yatnena punstvam safali kurushva. Samahita antakarana. What is antakarana? Antakarana usually is taken to be mind, ego and intellect. Here antakarana means just the mind. Samahita. Once you have controlled the mind. And swarupe vilokayati. And you see one's own self. Once you see one's own self, swarupa. So, how do you see oneself? Other than the idea of body, mind, etc., you see oneself to be beyond this, which according to Advaita Vedanta is the true nature of yourself. That you see. And how is it? Akhanda. It is infinite. And Vaibhavam. Akhanda Vaibhavam. It has got glory. But what kind of glory? Infinite glory. All glory which we see in this world is limited. You have money, it is limited. You have material wealth, assets, they are limited. Swarupe vilokayati atmanam akhanda vaibhavam. But this glory is such a glory which is unlimited, which is infinite, which has no end. Vichindi. And how will you get that? By cutting off. Cutting off what? Bandham. Bondage. What kind of bondage? Bhava, gandha, gandhitam. Gandha means smell. But here it means impressions. The influence of bhava. Bhava means being. Just existing is called bhava. Existing is called bhava. So being. Why does it, this word is used, bhava? That means we constantly take birth and death. We constantly die and again we are born. We are constantly born and we die and again we are born, etc. So why does that happen? Because of different kinds of impressions which are recorded in our mind, and so we have to fulfill those impressions. So if you see a jalebi and you before death you see a jalebi and then you die, and then next birth you will get a, and maybe when you are an infant they will give you so many sweets but you will eat jalebi, something like that. So this again and again you have to do. Bandham, bhava, gandha, gandhitam, which is strengthened. Gandhitam usually means which has the smell or acquires the smell. Here it means which is strengthened. These impressions are strengthened by your previous impressions and what you do now. So if you do good work now, you will attract more good work, and like that. If you do something bad, you will attract more bad things, like that. Yatnena pumstvam safali kurushva. And so, by yatna, by careful practice, pumstvam, your human birth, safali kurushva, make it successful. The idea is, most people, most means almost everyone, spends their entire lifetime without even thinking of anything that could be higher than what they have been born into. This is something, when somebody is for the first time hearing the idea of moksha, so a very common objection is, oh, what will happen if everybody gets moksha? then this whole world will not exist. So that's a logically fallacious argument. Why? Because a person who will get liberated, that person's worldview will change completely. Then that person will not want this world to exist. And so the whole world will not exist if everyone gets moksha. So that, and there is no need to exist. Swami Vivekananda, when he was giving lectures on Jnana Yoga, gave an example. In a classroom, it was a geography or sciences class, and an inspector, they used to have inspectors visiting classrooms. Nowadays, of course, they don't do such things because it is all, they know there is nothing to inspect, or they are too busy doing that. Even here in the mountains, they come, and if you have to go to the school, you have to walk down and you have to climb mountains, etc. So they just stand on the road and ask the teacher to bring all the documents. So whether you are teaching or not, documents should be in order. So that is a big problem. Anyway, so in those days, it seems inspectors used to come and check. So they asked, one inspector asked a question to the class. What was the question? The question was that why does not the earth fall? Earth, why is it suspended kind of? Why does it not fall? So immediately one girl answered, where will it fall to? There is nothing, no ground or nothing in space where it can fall to. Similarly, our whole idea of this worldview is our idea. It may be shared with some differences with other people, but nonetheless, it's our idea. And so, we say, I want to be happy. You see, there are very few people who are content in themselves. Then the other people, they get disturbed. They say, oh, don't you want to earn money? No, I am happy with what I have. But how can that be? You should be ambitious, etc. That is your worldview. That is what you think. So there is one incident I frequently tell. I don't know whether it actually happened. It's a story. Since most of you are from Kolkata, say there is this Diga, no, the beach and all that. So on the sands of Diga, a person was lying down bare-bodied with wearing lungi, lying down and smoking what is called kaka bidi. Bidi, you know. So kaka's bidi he was smoking. And somebody intelligent like you went and said, hey, what are you doing? He said, I'm having bidi. But why are you lying on the sand? And I'm just having my bidi. He said, oh, so have you studied something? No, I have not studied anything. But you're wasting your life, you should study. Then this person asks, then what will I do after studying? He says, after studying you will get into some job or something. Then what will I do? Then you will earn money. Then what would I do? Then you will marry, have kids. Then what would I do? And you will have a big house and you will have car, etc. You will enjoy life. So what would I do then? Then you can relax and you can smoke. That's what I'm doing. So this is the idea people have generally about life, that you have to do something, you have to achieve something, etc. So there was a saint in Kerala. His name was Narayan. What he used to do is, early in the morning, just at sunrise, he used to get up on a hill. Go to the base of a hill, a small hillock, and he used to push a big rock up the hill. So it was very difficult, and almost half day used to pass pushing the rock up the hill. And he will push, and he will be sweating and everything. And then, almost in the afternoon, he will go to the top of the hill, and from there he will push it down, that rock. So that rock will go down, and then he will clap. So every day he used to do this. It seems he was a knower of Brahman, and he was just showing people that whatever you think you're doing is all such a waste. Now the question is, so should we not do anything? If you realize this, then you will not do anything. But the answer is that most of you don't realize. Most of us, most of people, even other living beings, they don't realize. So if you have this desire that I have to do something, and you think that I will not do because world is all cyclical and all that, that is hypocrisy. So that you should not resort to. But till you have this worldview, you have to do. But the ultimate truth is that nothing is going to, you are not going to change the world or something. That is why Swami Vivekananda said famously that this world is like the tail of a dog. No matter how much ever you try, you can never straighten it. So many great people came, but they couldn't change the world. So all you can change is yourself. So here, entire lifetime passes away, but people just do what they have been doing, what they have been seeing other people doing. I'm not even talking about spiritual life or a philosophical life. I'm just saying even in the so-called material worldview, material kind of living, even there, people will get into some job and they will keep on doing the same work, and they will again bring up their children, they will give them education, get them also into some jobs. So people don't even innovate. They don't think that, oh, maybe we could start something new, maybe we could think something new, we could discover or invent something new. Nobody thinks like that. Why? Because we somehow are comfortable doing the same thing over and again. We don't want to go beyond what we have seen. That itself is a place where you can do something new. That itself could be a starting point. When you see something, when you try to do something out of the box, as they say, or when you try to do something which is different from other people. And so that would be an attempt to understand yourself. Swami Vivekananda says that even a worm is trying to find its true reality. But if you do it knowingly, consciously, it would be taking less time. But if you do it unconsciously also, eventually you will reach the same goal. But then you have to have this attitude, this effort at finding out who you are. And that's Sri Ramakrishna's beautiful example, where he says that a fisherman goes and throws a net, and then the big fishes, they are not caught, small fishes, they escape from the holes of the net, and some fish, they, along with the net, go into the riverbed and think that we are all happy. So most of us are like that. We think we are all happy. What is the necessity to think all these things? We have our roti, kapda and makan taken care of. So why do we need to think of all these things? And that is why, that is where our humanness comes into play. We become human beings because we think. Otherwise, there is no difference between us and animals. You see, animals and us, the only difference is that we have a ethical system. We have a system which makes you go beyond what you are, makes you think beyond your sense and body and mind. If you don't have that, then you are as good as a pig or a dog or something like that. Only when you have that distinction, you have this distinction of being a human being. Even biologically speaking, you see, human beings have certain characteristics. Okay. Do you know what are they? Biologically speaking, what are the characteristics of human being which distinguish them from other animals?
Standing it.
So we see that there are something called vertebrates and non-vertebrates. But even among vertebrates, it's only the human being which has got a straight spinal cord. All other vertebrates have not so straight spinal cords. So spinal cord, you can stand erect. Then what else is the characteristic of a human being? There is the characteristic of thumb. You see, our thumbs are like this. It's straight, almost 90-degree angle to your hand or your palm. So this thumb. Thumb is also something very unique to the human being. Now, vertebrae, that's why we say if somebody cannot stand up to for one's own cause, we say that the person lacks spine. We say that person lacks spine. Even in Bengali or in other languages, we use this. That means the spine is not only biological, I think it is also symbolic. It's philosophical and symbolic. That this is something which gives you the courage to stand up for what you believe. Okay. And then you have this thumb. Thumb is what makes us do things. So it's not that many people mistake this idea of karma in Indian philosophy to be something like destiny. It is nothing like destiny. Karma theory is a wonderful thing. People don't understand it or don't put enough mind to understand it. Karma theory says that whatever you are suffering now is because of what you did in the past. That means that whatever you will do in the future or whatever you will experience in the future is in your hands now. Future can be tomorrow, tonight, or maybe 10 years after, or other births or whatever. So you can actually, you are the only person who is writing your destiny. There is nobody sitting somewhere. We have gone to Mars and we have not found anyone sitting anywhere writing some people's destiny. So you are the person who is writing the destiny. And how do you do this? That is why you have been given this thumb. Endeavor. You can do things using this thumb. You can create things using this thumb. That freedom has been given to you. Means that thing has been given to you. And so human beings, and also in human beings, brain, a part of brain is developed only in the human beings. We don't see that kind of a brain, the frontal cortex, developed in other, so much developed in other animals or other species.
If you, you should that you have said control power. Control.
Control about what?
Control brain.
No. I have said that you can do things using your thumb, and so you have the control of your own destiny. What happens to you is in your hands, not from the brain. Brain is highly evolved in the human being, which is not there in other species.
But brain is also associated with karma. What we do, what karma we do, that is.
I'm talking about the biological brain.
Biological.
So of course, whatever karma you do, no, I'm talking about as the species as the whole. But individually, whatever action you do, karma, will definitely affect everything. We say that it will affect your birth itself. So what body even you take, whether you become a plant or according to the Indian philosophy, whether you become a plant or whether you become an animal, depends on what you do. So that of course, but I am saying from the biological perspective, that the brain which a human being has got is, as far as we know till now, is the most evolved. Most evolved. So these things are given to us. And so that is what is called as pumstvam. Now again this word pum has been wrongly translated in many places to mean a male. But pum does not mean a male. Pum means human being. So that's why later on pumlinga means pullinga became the male gender in grammar. And strilinga became the female gender. But pum, the root means human being. So our birth as a human being can be safali kurushva. Shankaracharya says that make it fulfilled. The fulfillment of our birth as human being can occur only when we strive to go beyond what we think ourselves to be. Now that could mean different things for different people. For someone it could mean getting out of the traditional kind of household and doing something extra. For some person it could mean that the father was a farmer, grandfather was a farmer, everyone was into farming, and this person came out and did some either innovations in farming or went to some other profession. So it could mean different things to different people, but the thing is that you have to constantly try to evolve. And unless you evolve, unless you attempt at evolution, you are not a human being. You are not fit to be qualified as human being. So Sri Ramakrishna famously said that the goal of human life is God realization. God realization. Now all of us know this, most of us know this. People who have read Sri Ramakrishna know this. But the point is, we memorize it and we quote it often. We don't do anything about it. That's the point. So you may memorize it, you may quote it, you may know exact page number where it has been repeated in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, but that's it. You don't do anything about it. Another beauty of the Vedas, that is the main scripture or the only scripture of Hinduism. Scripture means the basic scripture. In Hinduism, in any branch of Hinduism, you can actually go against everything, but you cannot go against Vedas. That is something unique. So Vedas are they have been passed from the by the oral tradition, by word of mouth, and they are realizations of different rishis, etc. Now you go to any religion in the world, no religion will give you a text which says that the text is useless. It's only the Vedas which have the courage to say that they are useless. In Vedas, such statements are there throughout the Vedas. In Upanishads, you will see that they say that this is useless. This text will not bring you liberation. Whereas in most religions, or almost all other religions, you will find that the text says that this text is the final authority. You have to follow this text. Whereas the Vedas say that no, texts are not final, and then you have to practice and you have to do this, and only by realizing it, only the experience is final. So again here we need to understand that we constantly are over and again making impressions on our mind, which is leading to our getting born again and again. So the only way to get out of it is to cut vichindi, to cut this bondage by thinking of your true self, which is the Atman, and by getting moksha, by getting liberated. So this is the idea which has been told, and Sri Ramakrishna very nicely, if you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, first 4 pages, that is sufficient. First 4 pages of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna contains everything you need or anybody needs for spiritual life. So he says that you see, people shed jug full of tears for one's kith and kin and money, etc. But who cries for God? Now all of you have read it. Can anyone tell me what does it mean?
What means? What means?
Review.
Now what does that statement mean?
মানে আমরা ঈশ্বরের জন্য কিছু করি না, কিছু কাঁদতে চাই না, কিছু না, আমার স্ত্রী পুত্র টাকা পয়সা এদের জন্য কাঁদে।
So that is what Sri Ramakrishna said. এটার মানে কি? What does it mean?
তার মানে তুমি ঈশ্বরের দিকে মন দাও,
Maya.
মায়ের মনটাই কাটো,
ঈশ্বর বলি pray for God, praying for God.
মায়াটাকে কাটো, নিয়ে তুমি ঈশ্বরের দিকে এগিয়ে যাও।
Question I will do this.
Actually, we are replaying ourselves every moment.
I'm getting a bit of the Bengali, not fully.
No, this
But
you
say,
got the
I
question.
understood what he said.
So what is the answer of that? What does it mean? Sri Ramakrishna says you all shed jug full of tears. He could have said that you are all attached to people. So why does he say that jug full of tears? You should understand one thing. You see, before
You
you
can't cry. That is, you can't cry for God till you have detached from all this.
Your mind should be attachment to the God.
If you are still thinking of this, then no matter how much you go and japo and
but why should one cry for God?
it is a yearning.
You are
God
sorrowful.
in the sense of not as the personal God in the sense of the
But he does not say that.
No.
But God in the sense of a higher goal.
No, that is your interpretation. He does not say. God means as you see God. You may see as the higher goal. That person may see Krishna as God.
Right.
So God. But what I am asking you is, why should one cry?
Unless you have that surrender and bhakti, but then these are all words, we don't know the meaning. We have not experienced it.
You are always experiencing it. That's the point. You see, one thing we should understand is whenever we read, say you read Chetan Bhagat's novel, that is Chetan Bhagat's novel. That fellow has to make money, so he is writing novels. Or he has a passion. That's why he left some big banking job and he started writing novels. But then again, he has some money making thing also there. Whatever, it's all mixed. When we hear about Sri Ramakrishna or when we hear what Sri Ramakrishna has said, we should understand that this is a person who is established in truth. So even one comma, where he implies a comma, a pause, has a meaning. Because a person who is established in truth will not do anything which has got something to be got in material terms. This person is established in truth. So why that person says tears? Why doesn't that person say bhakti or surrender? That he says, of course. He says the gospel is replete with references to bhakti, surrender, etc. But I am talking about this statement where he says that you shed jug full of tears for your wife, children, etc. But you don't shed tears. How many people shed tears for God? Why tears?
Most probably you
মুক্তি
should
থেকে আসছে বল
মক্ষ পাওয়ার জন্য
হ্যাঁ?
মক্ষ পাওয়ার জন্য
মুক্তি থেকে আসছে
Why do you...
No, these tears for
ভালোবাসা
God
মুক্তি।
is useless. But if we cry for God,
No, you see,
But why he doesn't
no,
say?
that's what I am saying. You see, there is a plant. Okay, a person is planting a flower, say rose plant, for the purpose of garden, beautification of garden. And then you are saying, oh, don't plant it for beautification of the garden, plant it for the temple. So it will be used for the worship of God or Lord. So in both cases, you are doing something. You are doing something because you want to do something. It's an action you are doing. When I take this mobile and keep it here, I decided that I will take this mobile and keep it here. Even if I don't keep it, it's all right. Even if you don't plant the tree, rose plant, it is all right. Even if you don't plant it for the garden, it is all right. But is that what Sri Ramakrishna is saying? How many of you have knee pain?
Had it in the past.
Knee pain. Anybody has got cervical spondylosis? Anybody has got back pain?
Most of us will have some of it.
Anybody got kidney stone? Nobody? Kidney stone?
I've had.
Huh?
I've had.
You have had.
I don't think I have it now.
So these kinds of pains, Doctor Ji, it's a pain, debilitating pain, where you actually start crying. Have you experienced that like that? Somebody has experienced? You were so sick that you felt like crying. Have you experienced? None of you have experienced?
Yes, have it.
Or you don't want to tell you? So, yeah, you have such a severe pain that it's unbearable. You just want to die or something. Okay, you didn't want that pain. It's not an action that you decided that, oh, let us have pain today. Today we will have pain and then I will cry. So whenever you cry for your kith and kin, that is not something which you want. That is not something which you do voluntarily. You're so involved with the situation that you start crying. Similarly, when you have a pain in the body, you're so involved with the pain that you cannot stop crying. Once you become so involved with God, then you will realize God. See, this is the idea.
Beautiful, Maharaj. Very beautiful. First time I have understood this.
This is the idea, not that, you are crying. Because when even Sri Ramakrishna was alive, many people used to practice, Swamiji is saying about that. They used to practice staying without, blinking like that. And they used to practice crying in front of the mirror before they went to see Sri Ramakrishna and Dakshineshwar. People were there like that, even when he was alive.
Really?
Yeah, Swamiji talks about that. So, that is not what Sri Ramakrishna is meaning at all. So if you say, oh, I have to cry, since Sri Ramakrishna said, oh, Bhagavan, there are people who come to the ashrama, and I don't know what happens. There's the moment they say, Maharaj, koto dukkho. Then I used to wonder if they really feel that there is so much suffering in the world and then they can cry. No, it's a orchestrated, rehearsed crying. That will not bring you anything. So there is no volition behind this crying.
Vrindavan once, Maharaj, at the Devi's temple, I walked in, and then this sadhu was totally unaware of everything, talking to the Devi, and just sheets
Crying.
of tears, and he didn't know there was anything else other than the Devi and him. What you are saying.
So when you become so involved, then that is what is. So here the idea is, because we have got this human birth, and even in this human birth we are getting these ideas that there is a possibility of going beyond what you think you to be. So that also many people don't get. You see, most people spend their entire lifetime in some miserable condition. May not be miserable externally, but miserable nonetheless. So you have got Vivekachudamani. In the beginning it says that if you get three things. What are they? First is human birth, and then you have this Mahapurusha Sansraya, means you have the company of great people, and then Mumukshutva, the desire for liberation. So this is Durlabham Trayame Vaitad Deva Anugraha Hetukam Manushyatvam Mumukshutvam Mahapurusha Samshrayah. Third verse of Vivekachudamani. It says, Durlabham. It is very rare to have these things, and they are got only because of the grace of God. So when human birth, Mumuksha means the desire for liberation, and company of great people. So when we have got this, then we have to stop and think, what are we doing here in this life? Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.